behalf of my family, I want to thank all of you for being here. My name is Jaime Constantino. I am my father's third to the oldest son. My father was a great man, and if I had to describe my father with one word, it would be amazing. My father was born May 23rd, 1931, in a little town called San Dieguito in Mexico. My father came to the United States as a bracero in 1952 at the age of 21. My father drove cotton trucks and made his home in Alamo, Texas, where later he met my mother, Zenaida. It was love at first sight, and just a few days ago at my mom's house, my mother shared a 65-year-old letter with us that he had written to her. It was touching to hear my father's words. My parents married in 1956, and later my brother Margarito was born, followed by my brother Rogelio Jr., myself, and my sister Maria. My father received a job opportunity in the state of Washington, where a short time later, my little sister Irma was born. My father later came to California, and we settled in French Camp. I remember my father working long hours in agricultural work shortly after my sister Susie and Gracie were born. It was at that time that now we were 7 kids total. My father always made sure we never went without. He was a great provider. I remember my father one day being excited because he had saved up enough money to buy our first new car. We drove to Chase Chevrolet when they were on Minor and Hunter, where my father not only bought a car, but was offered a job as a lot man for Chase Chevrolet. My father always had a thing for cars, and he accepted the position. A short time after, my father opened up his own business in the auto detailing and upholstery and got into tires and wheels. In 1971, my father bought our first home, where he still lived until his last day. My father was always a helpful man, always looking after his family and his family members. He would take the time to teach them the trade. That was just the type of guy that he was. One thing you might already know about my father is that he was crazy about soccer. In the 70s, he managed a soccer team by the name of Toluca, in which they took the championship for the division of Northern California 3 years in a row. He's got many trophies at home, and he used to cherish those trophies to this day. My mom couldn't touch them or move them because he wouldn't allow it. He loved soccer so much that when he was in the hospital, before he came home, the nurse wasn't sure if he was comprehending well, but the nurse started to change his TV channels that were right in front of him. She passed up a soccer game, and my father yelled, "Stop," and to leave it on the channel. The nurse knew my father was very much aware of what was going on at that time, and that was my father. You couldn't change the TV when we were at home, and you couldn't get him away from the TV when it was soccer time. We will forever remember his words of wisdom, his laughter, and his smile. My father taught us many things in life, one being when we tragically lost our older brother, Margarito. He taught us to always be a close family because you never know when it will be your last day. Our father left us with so many memories that we will cherish in our hearts forever. At this time, I would like to take the time for my family and I to say, we'll always love you, we'll always miss you, and thank you a million times to this amazing man who we were so blessed to have with our Father. Thank you. Right now, just before we came here, my older brother was rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Not doing well. And he asked
His son.
his son to read something from my father. His son is with him at the hospital at this time. So I would like to read it for my brother, a few words to my.
That's Kiko. That's Kiko's words for Grandpa. Your nephew.
He's saying, this is from my nephew. I'm sorry for my nephew. Hey, Theo, can you say a few words for me? He asked. Grandpa was funny, big-hearted, and loved his family. Being the oldest, I got to see and remember the smells he gave me and some of the ones he gave you. I remember one day I was with my dad at the shop, and I wanted to help. Grandpa just finished the car. I decided to clean the windows and spray them all with Armor All. That's a no-no. He got excited, but he didn't yell at me. I think my dad took the rap for that. Then when I saw how much he loved little Manuel, nicknamed him Cuero, I realized that Grandpa could love everybody. I was a young man, but I understood. Grandpa made me laugh, like when he danced with Maggie with his hands on his stomach and the other in the air making her laugh. The last thing I'll share is one time when I was maybe like 9, I had to go to the bathroom. Grandpa was in the bathroom and wouldn't come out. I yelled for my dad, and he asked Grandpa to please open the door. Grandpa came out with orange hair. I didn't know Grandpa colored his hair. Something went wrong. He made me laugh. I love you, Grandpa, and my dad loves you. This is from little Roy Jr., who's with my brother at Darien Hospital right now. And we have a few minutes for about 20 minutes for the rosary. Father Leo will be here. And at this time, I would like to ask family first, starting with my brother Roy's kids, if they would like to say a few words. And then, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you off at 6:30 because we have to get going with the rosary. After the rosary, we will continue with hopefully my family, and then my sister Maria's, Irma's, and Susie's kids. So anybody from Roy's family want to say a few words, you can right now.
I'm not used to speaking in front of people, but my name is Rudy Constantino. I'm Roy Constantino's second son. I wasn't around for 28 years. You know, life happens, but the last 3.5, 4 years, I came back into the picture. My family took me, no questions asked, all my kids and me. And I know that family is hard to find, and I love you guys. I'm Constantino through and through. I don't give a care what anybody says. You know what I mean? And it comes from my grandpa, my grandma. Yeah, and all stuff that happens in our lives, man, it's small compared to what we got with each other. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I love you all. I miss you, Grandpa. I wish I had more time with you, but I enjoyed it. I remembered the last 3 or 4 years. Thank you.
If there's nobody else, we're going to start with my family, starting with Jaime Jr.
Good evening. My name is Jaime Constantino Jr. I'm the oldest son of Jaime and Marta. I'm really sad and I'm going to miss my grandpa a lot. I have a lot of good memories with him. When I was little, I remember spending the night. I'm sure like all my cousins, we all spend the night at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I got a little funny story here when I spent the night there. It's kind of like where I learned how to use a tortilla. Well, my grandpa, what he would do is he would rip a piece of a tortilla, and he would just like slam it on his food, like it was Domino's or something. Like just slam it, the tortilla, and then just pick it up and eat it. And believe it or not, till this day, I do that too. I just get that tortilla, throw it on the food, and eat it. But I remember that one. That was a good one. With my cousin Johnny. Is that him right there? I got one right here. Well, spending the night, one day my cousin Johnny, he spent the night too. And we found some matches. And, we started playing with matches and stuff. But we ended up catching the back fence on fire. And, Grandpa was mad. But after that, like, he kept me and Johnny kind of like on a short leash. But being the loving grandpa that he was, he eventually got over it. And then a lot of you might remember we had a tire and rim business called Jay's House of Wheels. And that was where we just bonded all the time. We just had good times and memories, and it was just fun there all the time because my Tío Roy just had jokes after jokes, and I can't stop laughing at from his jokes. My dad, my grandpa, that's where we I just tried to learn everything I could from them when I was there. And then I remember helping my grandpa and my Tío Roy just like detail the cars and stuff. And every time my grandpa, he saw that I did something good. I mean, like these 2 words I'm gonna tell you right now. When he said these 2 words, he really meant it. Like he got really into it. It's on my shirt actually, right here. He just used to say, "Atta boy," just like that. But he would get into it. It was funny. It kind of motivated me. I kind of man. But yeah, that was our tire rim shop we had. It was also the first time I remember my wife Angelina, Franklin High School sweethearts, I guess you could say. She the first time she met Grandpa was there at the shop. She was a teenager. Back then she was my girlfriend, so I mean, But I could just remember we were eating lunch there at the shop, and then I introduced Angelina to Grandpa and everything. And after we were done eating, we were going to leave. And then I had Grandpa tap me on the back. And he had like a big old smile on his face. And he tapped me on the back. And I looked and said, "Yeah, Grandpa." And then he had a big smile on his face. And he just gave me the thumbs up like that. So I guess she got approved though. But yeah, my last sentence, I'm gonna leave it at this right here. I will always remember Grandpa, and I will forever be proud to be a Constantino.
Tita, were you going to say a few words? This is my daughter, Martha Jr.
Good evening, everyone. Well, my father just introduced me. I'm Martha, also known as Tita. I'm Jaime's older daughter. I'm one of the oldest granddaughters. I just would like to say a few things about my grandpa. He was the best grandpa anyone could ask for. He always told each and every one of us how much he loved us. He has left us all with broken hearts and shedding tears. One thing I can say about my family is that this Constantino family is big, and we're very close. We all have our special moments with Grandpa. To us growing up, to us having our own kids, we'll always keep those memories alive and in our hearts forever. He was always spreading his love and laugh with us. I thank God that Grandpa got to be here with all of us and lived 90 wonderful years. On behalf of myself and my family, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, supporting my family through this difficult time. Thanks to all of you for your condolences and prayers. Grandma, Gracie, remember, you guys are not alone. You have all of us here with you forever. Nunca vas a estar sola, abuelita. Siempre vas a tener todos nosotros contigo. One thing I'm going to miss is hearing him say to my grandma, he would always say, "Vieja, vieja." Grandpa, abuelito, gracias por todo. Thanks for all you gave me from when I was born until your final days. I'll miss you. I'll love you so much, and you'll always be in my heart. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue the words you guys might have from my father. This time we're going to get started with the rosary. me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday is done, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Just show me the way, show me the way, one day at a time.
Do you remember when you walked among men? Well, Jesus, you know, if you look in below, it's worse now than then. Pushing and shoving, and proud in my mind. So for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday is gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.
We're going to recite the rosary. So we remain seated during the whole rosary, so there's no need to kneel down or anything, okay? It's going to be done bilingual, and it's a biblical rosary. I'm going to take this off for a minute. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. El Señor Jesús esté con todos ustedes. El primer misterio es un misterio doloroso. Jesús en el huerto de Getsemaní. The first mystery is Jesus in agony in the garden. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Jesus came with them to Gethsemane, and sadness came over him in great distress. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Then he said, my soul is sorrowful to the point of death. Wait here and keep away with me. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Then Jesus withdrew from them and knelt down and prayed. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Father, if you are willing, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, let your will be done, not mine. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Then an angel appeared to him, coming from heaven, to give him strength. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. In his anguish, Jesus prayed even more intensely. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Then he came back to his disciples and found them sleeping. And he said, "So you had not the strength to keep away with me 1 hour? Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. You should be awake and praying not to be put to the test. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. María, Madre de Gracia y Madre de Misericordia. Sagrado Corazón de Jesús.
Del cielo bajaron la Madre de Dios, cantemos el ave a su concepción. Ave, ave, ave María, ave, ave, ave María.
Segundo misterio, misterio doloroso, la crucifixión, Jesús cargando con su cruz. Second sorrowful mystery, Jesus carrying his cross. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. If anyone wants to be a follower of mine, let him renounce himself. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And take up his cross every day and follow me. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And Jesus carried his own cross as they laid him out to crucify him. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And they seized on a man, Simon, from the town of Cyrene, and made him shoulder the cross and carry behind Jesus. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Shoulder my yoke and look from me. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. For I am gentle and humble in heart. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. And you will find rest for your souls. Yes, my yoke is easy and my burden light. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Large numbers of people follow him. Women too, who mourn and lamented for him. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. But Jesus turned to them and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep rather for yourself and for your children. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. For if men use that green wood like this, what will happen when it is dry? Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. María, Madre de Gracia y Madre de Misericordia. Sagrado Corazón de Jesús.
Del Verbo divino de Cristo Jesús, la Santísima Madre María eres tú. Ave, ave, Ave María, ave, ave, Ave María.
Tercer misterio doloroso, la crucifixión. Third sorrowful mystery, the crucifixion. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. When they reached the place called the Skull, they crucified him. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Jesus said, Father, forgive them. They do not know what they are doing. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. One of the criminals crucified with him said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Indeed, I promise you, he replied, today you will be with me in paradise. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother, and the disciple he loved. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Jesus said to his mother, "Woman, this is your son." Then to the disciple he said, "This is your mother." Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And from that moment, the disciple made a place for her in his home. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And darkness came over the whole land, and the earth quaked, and the veil of the temple was torn in two. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And bowing his head, he breathed his last. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. María, Madre de Gracia y Madre de Misericordia. Sagrado Corazón de Jesús.
Oh Virgen sin mancha, oh Madre de amor, el ángel te ofrezca su salutación. Ave, ave, ave María, ave, ave, ave María.
Cuarto misterio, misterio glorioso, la resurrección. Fourth glorious mystery, the resurrection of Christ. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. I tell you most solemnly, you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will turn to joy. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. For I shall see you again, and your heart will be full of joy, and that joy no one shall take from you. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. At the first sign of dawn, they went to the tomb, with the spices they have prepared. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And all at once the angel of the Lord, descending from heaven, came and rolled away the stone and sat on it. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. I know you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. He has risen from the dead. Come and see the place where he lay. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And now he is going before you to Galilee. It is there you will see him. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. And the woman came out from the tomb, filled with awe and great joy. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. I am the resurrection and the life. If anyone believes in me, even though he dies, he will live. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. María, Madre de Gracia y Madre de Misericordia. Sagrado Corazón de Jesús.
Eres el orgullo de Dios Creador y el fruto más digno de la redención.
Ave.
Ave María, ave, ave.
Ave María. Quinto y último misterio, un misterio glorioso, la ascensión de Jesús. Fifth and final mystery, the ascension of our Lord Jesus into heaven. Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Jesus took them out as far as the outskirts of Bethany, and lifting up his hand, he blessed them. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia. El Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. He said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Go, therefore, Make disciples of all the nations and baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. And teach them to observe all the commands that I gave you. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. He who believes and is baptized will be saved. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. And know that I am with you always, yes, to the end of time. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. As he said this, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him from their sight. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. And so the Lord Jesus was taken up into heaven. There, at the right hand of God, he took his place. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Gloria al Padre, al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo. María, Madre de Gracia y Madre de Misericordia. Sagrado Corazón de Jesús. Dios te salve, Reina y Madre de Misericordia. Vida, dulzura y esperanza nuestra, Dios te salve. A ti llamamos los desterrados hijos de Eva. A ti suspiramos gimiendo y llorando en este valle de lágrimas. Ea pues, Señora, abogada nuestra, vuelve a nosotros esos tus ojos misericordiosos, y después de ese destierro, muéstranos a Jesús, fruto bendito de tu vientre, oh clemente, oh piadosa, oh dulce Virgen María, ruega por nosotros, Santa Madre de Dios. Ave María Purísima. Unas palabras antes de retirarme. Quiero decirle a Zenaida, ¿verdad?, que yo siempre le he tenido un gran cariño a ella y a su esposo Juan. Desde hace 50 años que nos conocimos, así que somos como familia. Yo estuve allí cuando tuvo un gran dolor muy grande, ¿verdad? Margarito, ¿verdad? Cuando murió Margarito, allí estuve y ahora vuelvo a estar con ella en momentos tan difíciles. Dice la Biblia que hay tiempo para todo. Hay tiempo para todo, tiempo para nacer y tiempo para morir, tiempo para abrazar y tiempo para despedirse, tiempo para llorar y tiempo para estar de fiesta. Ese es tiempo para llorar. No tenemos que ser fuertes, solamente tenemos que confiar en Dios. Es la fuerza de Dios la que nos va a llevar. No es la fuerza propia. Realmente nosotros no tenemos mucha fuerza. El mismo Jesucristo, fíjense, en el huerto de Getsemaní le dice a sus discípulos: acompáñenme, oren conmigo. Se le quedaron dormidos, pobre Jesús, nunca pedía nada. Y cuando pidió que sus amigos, los apóstoles, lo acompañaran, se le quedaron dormidos. Dice la Biblia que Dios tuvo que enviarle un ángel, ¿verdad?, para fortalecerlo. Porque Jesús también era débil, También era débil, buscó la ayuda de sus amigos, no la encontró. Dios Padre tuvo que enviarle un ángel para fortalecerlo. Y el ángel lo fortalece porque Jesús no quería morir, ¿verdad? Pero dice, no se haga mi voluntad, Padre, sino que se haga la tuya. Pero Jesús no estaba muy contento de morir, y menos una muerte en la cruz, que era una muerte tremenda. Después, cuando lleva el madero, ¿verdad? Parece que la cruz se completaba en el Calvario. Tuvieron que buscarle ayudante a un campesino que se llamaba Simón, del pueblo de Cirene. Lo obligaron a que llevara la cruz de Jesús, porque Jesús ya se había caído 3 veces con la cruz. O sea, Jesús ya estaba muy mal y no podía con la cruz. ¿Ven qué débil era Jesús? Tuvieron que ayudarle con la cruz porque Jesús no podía solito con su cruz. Un campesino fuerte, trabajador, le ayuda a llevar la cruz a Jesús, porque así todos somos humanos y todos tenemos necesidad. Así que ese es el tiempo de sentir nuestra necesidad, nuestra pequeñez como humanos. Pero como cristianos tenemos que confiar en Dios, en la fuerza de Dios. En la fuerza de Dios, no la fuerza de nosotros que nos ayuda a continuar. Estaba pensando que Zenaida vivió lo mismo que sufrió la Virgen María, ¿verdad? La Virgen María, cuando dicen, eso no está en las Escrituras, que cuando Jesús tenía como unos 13 o 14 años, San José murió. Así que la Virgen sufrió la muerte de su esposo, como Zenaida está sufriendo la muerte de Juan. Y también después María sufrió la muerte de su hijo, ¿verdad? También nuestra querida Zenaida sufrió la muerte de un hijo. Así que si alguien entiende a Zenaida, es la Virgen, porque la Virgen sufrió la muerte de su esposo y la muerte de un hijo muy querido. Así que a esa señora, la Virgen María, le pedimos que consuele el corazón de Zenaida y el corazón de sus hijos. No es la fuerza de ustedes, señores, es la fuerza de Dios lo que nos va a hacer seguir adelante. No es tu fuerza, es la fuerza de Dios. Y tenemos que confiar en Dios, porque nosotros todos somos limitados, todos somos débiles, todos tenemos limitaciones, unos más, unos menos, pero todos somos necesitados. Jesús también, entonces, de sus amigos, de un ángel, de un campesino para que le ayudara a llevar la cruz. Así que no es tiempo de estar fuertes, es tiempo de sentir nuestra debilidad y de confiar en Dios, que Dios nos va a llevar la carga. No la vamos a llevar nosotros, Jaime, no la llevamos nosotros no podemos. Tenemos que dársela a Jesús, ¿verdad? Para que Él nos ayude. Vamos a estar bien. Y tenemos la esperanza que volveremos a ver a Juan en el reino de Dios, con un cuerpo glorioso como el de Jesucristo. Y no entendemos eso, claro que no lo entendemos. Pero si Dios nos dio esta vida, nos puede dar una mucho mejor, 100 veces mejor. Porque para Dios todo es posible, para nosotros no, para Dios sí. Así que a Juan yo lo quise mucho, y a Zenaida y a sus hijos de hace 50 años que los conozco. Siempre fue la misma persona, siempre sonriente, calladito. Yo nunca lo escuché hablar mal de nadie, ¿verdad? Siempre trabajando para sus hijos y para su esposa. Así que Juan fue un hombre bendecido, casi 90 años de vida, ¿verdad? Como un círculo completo. Bien bonito, miren cómo lo estamos despidiendo, cómo vivió muy bien, hizo muchas cosas buenas en este mundo y lo estamos despidiendo con mucha alegría y también con dolor y también con tristeza, pero lo estamos despidiendo como lo que fue, una gran persona, un gran hombre, ¿verdad? Así que voy a terminar con la oración de el 2 veces santo. ¿Saben quién es el 2 veces santo? San Santiago, ¿verdad? Para que aprendan algo, ¿ok? Porque a veces que no aprenden nada. A ver, oración a San Santiago, que le tenía mucho cariño, nuestro hermano Juan. Dios Todopoderoso y Eterno, que consagraste los primeros trabajos de los apóstoles con la sangre de San Santiago, haz que por su martirio sea fortalecida tu iglesia y por su patrocinio nos mantengamos fieles a Cristo hasta el final de los tiempos. por nuestro Señor Jesucristo, que contigo vive y reina por los siglos de los siglos. Amén. Que el Señor bendiga a Zenaida, a sus hijos, a sus nietos. No sé si hubo bisnietos, a sus bisnietos, ¿verdad? Y a todos sus amigos que vienen a recordarlo con mucho cariño y con mucho respeto. Amén.
Era el cielo velas que había en el rebaño. Era el cielo velas que amante cuidó. Pero una tarde, al contarlas todas, le faltaba una y triste lloró. Las 99 dejó en el aprisco y por las montañas a buscarla fue. La encontró gimiendo, temblando de frío. La tomó en sus brazos, ungió sus heridas y al redil volvió. Yo era esa oveja que andaba perdida, lejos de mi Cristo, lejos de Jesús. Pero una tarde me encontró el maestro, me tomó en sus brazos, ungió mis heridas y al redil volví. Las 99 dejó en el aprisco y por las montañas a buscarla fue. La encontró gimiendo, temblando de frío. La tomó en sus brazos, ungió sus heridas y al redil volvió.
My mother wanted me to share with you right now that he had 26 grandkids, 52 great-grandkids, and one great-great-great-grandkid. And at this time, I would like to continue. If anybody has any words they want to say, I believe we left off with Maria, your kids, your family. You want to say a few words for Dad? Anybody in Maria's family? This is Maria Rivera, my sister. She used to be a Constantino, but she's still a Constantino at heart.
Where's my paper? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for sharing this day with us and celebrating my dad's life. My name is Maria Rivera. I am the middle child, which is the fourth child. I'm the fourth one. My father was a businessman, a husband, an uncle, a grandfather, but he was my daddy. He would always help everyone in need. Growing up, my dad taught us to work hard, be independent, get a good education so that we could not have to depend on anyone to take care of ourselves. He had a lot of wisdom and always gave us good advice. I want to share a story that I remember so clearly. Do you remember when your car broke down on Wilson Way? Okay, my brother's car broke down on Wilson Way, and it was like late at night. And my dad says, "Get up, Maria. You're gonna help me drive my truck home because they're gonna tow his truck." And I told him, "Dad, I don't know how to drive a stick shift." He goes, "Come on, I'll show you." I had to learn how to drive a stick shift in 5 minutes, and I could remember clearly my dad said, "Le haces así, luego así, luego así." That was my dad. Either you learn it or you don't. Okay? It was a happy moment because he showed me how to drive a stick shift in his little blue love truck. I had the privilege of being one of his caretakers for the past 11 years. And in those 11 years, they've been the most greatest time spent with my father. I will forever miss my daddy. I love you, and we will always keep your memory alive, Dad. I want to leave you with one scripture. It's a word of God. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Acknowledge him, and he will walk you through whatever you go through. Just like we're mourning right now. God will see us through. My brothers, my sisters, God's going to see us through, and we will. We will see Dad one day. Thank you.
I just want to say something real quick about my father-in-law. I'm his favorite son-in-law. And the reason why I'm his favorite son-in-law, because this man showed me how to detail. If it wasn't for him, I won't be where I'm at now. Every time I was detailing, I would always go to his house and tell him, "Look what I'm doing now. If I'm not doing a lowrider, I'm doing a big semi-truck in front of my house. If I'm not doing that, I'm doing a RV in front of my house. If I'm doing that, I'm doing something." But I always uplift him, everything he taught me. And I told Maria one day, I go, "Man, does your dad hate me that much because I'm always doing black cars?" And I asked Maria one day, I said, "Ask your dad why I'm always doing black cars." And he told me like this: "If you can do black, you can do any color cars." I never thought of it like that. And I told him one day, "I'll never buy a black car." And I bought a black car. But he reminded me. But I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him a lot because when I go to the house, he used to call me Saval, the saved one. My father-in-law was a strong man, very strong man. I mean, there's words I can't even say, but I just want to tell my wife, you spent 11 years taking care of your dad. My daughter, Christina, cherish those moments with your dad, your grandpa. Those stay right there, you two have, God is going to bless you guys. Because those are the memories that you guys have every day. Christina, you're there every day with him, playing cards or taking him to the hospital or whatever you're doing, spending those church days. Maria, I know it's hard for you. I'm going to be here. He's going to be okay. But I know everybody's going to be grieving right now. But let me share something with you. He made it. He made it. Because Maria was telling me he'd be in the room and he'd be praying. And you know when it's your time. Because when it's your time, you're going to call out to God. Sometimes we walk away from God. But God is always there. But I know in my heart, that my father-in-law, he made it to the pearly gates. I love him. He's a man of God. Strong man. A Constantino. And so I got one thing to say. I know by tomorrow we're all going to go our different ways. But remember, Gracie and Zenaida, be there for them. Everybody. Love you guys.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna keep it short. I didn't really have much to say, but I just got some memorable moments of my grandfather. My name is Johnny Rivera, one of the grandkids. Just to touch bases in some of these stories. One memory that I do cherish with my grandpa, my Uncle James, and my Uncle Roy is working at the shop. I remember my grandma and my mom were telling me, you should go help your grandpa at the shop. It would do you some good, so keep you out of trouble. So I went along and, I helped my grandpa, change tires, clean up, everything that, he showed me. He got my hands dirty with him. And then just at the end of the day, I felt good because, he used to give me rides home in his little blue truck. And just knowing that I helped my grandfather out, I just, that those memories, I cherish a lot. So, Uncle James and Uncle Roy, and you guys showed me a lot of stuff, and man, I'm gonna miss them. And touch bases with what cousin Jaime had said, man, I remember that day like it was yesterday when we burned that fence down. I got my ears pulled. But yeah, I'm gonna miss Grandpa, and everybody else is too. So.
I'm Christina, one of the granddaughters. My grandfather, Juan, he was such a great man. He enjoyed all his family, from his kids, sons, and daughters, to all his grandkids and great-grandkids. He was always smiling when we were all around. My grandpa was a hard worker. He was always striving and working hard for his family, from working in Mexico in the fields to having his own tire shop here in Stockton. I also remember even he had my brother Johnny helping him out in the tire shop. But as years went by, my grandfather started getting older. And if you know my grandfather, he was always determined to work and hustle some way or somehow. He didn't like to be home, sitting around and not do anything. As my grandfather got older in age, he slowed down a bit and started working on the South Side Flea Market, where he had his own spot there selling car parts. I remember one day when I was little, he told me he would pay me just to go over there and sit with him in his booth for the day and keep him company. But instead of me keeping him company, I would go to the other booths and spend his money there on food and the flea market toys. And then after that one day, he told me he couldn't bring me anymore because I was spending too much of his money instead of making money. My grandfather was a hard worker. He was determined on making a living for his family, and which I admire him for that. A couple years ago, I was asked to be my grandparents' caregiver, and I was honored to be there for them and take care of them. And until this day, I'm so grateful I took on that role. I'm being a caregiver for them. Not only was I there to help them take care of my grandfather with his doctor appointments and medication, I also spent quality time with him, with my grandfather. And as I was also able to create a closer bond with him, I will forever be grateful for all the stories he shared with me living in Mexico. One of my favorite stories is when I was with my Tia Gracie and him, and he was getting a haircut. And after he was done with his haircut, he stood on the counter next to the cashier and waited there, smiling at me and Gracie, waiting to see who was going to pay for his haircut. Then a couple of times later, he told me I had to bring extra cash just so he could tip his barber for his haircut. And I was thinking in my head, wait, now I got to bring extra cash and tip the barber? But I thought it was funny when my grandfather would wait on me to pay his haircut. I will forever cherish those moments, taking him to get his haircuts. As my grandfather got older, he got weaker and wasn't able to walk well enough on his own. If you know him, you know he's a strong man, and he was also very stubborn when it came to his doctor appointments. Whenever me and my mom took him to his doctor appointments, he would always refuse to use a walker or wheelchair, even though he knew he couldn't walk well on his own. So when we were at his appointments, I would bring out the wheelchair for him, and as soon as he seen the wheelchair, he would shake his head and say, but it would take him 10 minutes to get in that chair. As weak as my grandfather was, he didn't like showing it to anyone, and that's how strong and stubborn my grandfather would be at times. I have many more stories to tell, but I would like to give the opportunity for my other people to say something. I'm forever grateful for all the times me and my children have spent with him, and the bond my children had also developed with him, and be his caregiver and granddaughter. I will like to say this isn't goodbye. And I'll see you later. I love you, Grandpa.
Hi, everybody. My name's Alexis. I'm Johnny Maria's daughter. And something that I like to say was that Grandpa was such an amazing, funny man. He would always hug me and would want to take pictures on his famous flip phone. I never seen the pictures, but I knew he would cherish them and look back at them. We would always be outside and play with Baby when I was younger. But since Grandpa gave everyone nicknames, mine was La Prieta. And I never knew what that meant, and so I looked it up, and I don't know how I felt about it. But one thing that I'll cherish forever in my heart was the morning you came back, when we all went to go see you. And when I left to go check on my daughter, turns to find out that you were calling for me. And I never heard you call for me like that before, and to know that you called out for me twice, it made me feel honored, and just holding your hand made me feel so special. But I love you, Grandpa, and I know you're not in much pain as you were, and I love you, And I hopefully you're up there with my other grandparents having fun. I love you.
Hi, my name is Michael Rivera. I'm a son of Maria, Johnny. I just got a few good memories of my grandpa. I remember me and my little brother Richie. We were some bad kids running around grandma's house, stressing grandma out. But I know a lot of my cousins remember grandpa's dog, Baby. I remember me and Richie, we would try to ride Baby, and grandma would get mad, and then grandpa would just yank on our ears, just pull them. And I remember there was a lot of good memories with grandma and grandpa, staying with them, living with them. And grandpa gave me my first job at the flea market on El Dorado. And he used to get mad at me sometimes because I'll fall asleep on top of the boxes. And then again, he'll still pull my hair. But yeah, I'm gonna miss Grandpa. Grandma and Grandpa, they give out a lot of love. They showed everybody love, like every one of everybody's kids. You know, Grandpa had a lot of love for everybody. Don't matter who you are. He had that big heart. I'm gonna miss him. Yeah. I love you, Grandpa.
I have a big family. Now, Irma, this is my sister Irma, who also used to be a Constantino. She still is at heart.
I'm going to speak for my wife, Irma. You know, I usually write stuff down when I talk, but I'm just going to speak from my heart. You know, anybody could be a father. I mean, you could go have a one-night stand and be a father. But it takes a special man to be a dad. Not only you're going to have that kid, but you're going to provide for that kid. You're going to teach that kid, and that's what Juan did. When I married, when I was about to propose to Irma, you know, most people could say they probably don't even like their father-in-laws because they either scared of them or they don't like them. It was neither for me. I respected them because of the stories that Irma told me. Irma told me that he came from Mexico and he worked hard and he provided for all his 7 kids. Not only did he provide for them, because you could have money and provide, but he taught them, he trained them to be hardworking people, to be loving people and caring people. She told me of the stories how he helped, once he got established when he came, he helped other family members come from Mexico, and he even opened up his house to them. I mean, I'm sure there's some people here that either you or your father that he helped, and you're here because of Juan. And that's the father that Irma wanted me to talk about. It was her whole life. And when I proposed to my wife, I still remember I had a surprise party, and I proposed to her. I turned to Juan first, and I asked for her hand in marriage. And he had tears coming down his eyes. I don't know if he was crying because he was mad that I'm marrying her, but he was crying, and he told me yes, and I was crying too. But that was the kind of person he was, and I will always remember him, you know, just from the stories that my wife tells me. You know, that's the kind of person I wish when I pass that they could say stuff about me the way we are talking about Juan. And, you know, I'd never been to, I never brought up in a Catholic, and I didn't know what's the rosary about. But it was Father Leo, that was his name? But the words that Father Leo spoke, when he just spoke from his heart, and he said, it's okay for us to cry, it's okay for us to mourn, because the Bible tells us that when we cry and we mourn, it's the Spirit of God inside of us that intercedes for us. That sometimes we don't know what to say, we don't know what to ask God, but the Spirit of God is praying for us. So don't be afraid to cry, don't be afraid to mourn, because that's just God praying for us. Thank you, guys.
Good evening. For those who don't know me, I'm Irma's oldest daughter, Serena. And I've also had a nickname. They used to call me Witui. I don't know why Witui. But I am one of the oldest granddaughters. Juan Constantino, my grandpa, I know he was so many things to so many of us. My grandma, he was her right rib and our pillar to our family. To my mom, he was her role model and Gemini twin who couldn't sit down and always had to keep moving. And to my uncles and my aunts, James, Roy, Margarito, Maria, Susie, and Gracie, he was their hero, hard worker, inspiration, but more important, their father. I've heard so many stories of my grandpa helping so many people. It's unbelievable. There's been memories that we've all shared, like the time he danced his life away at Theo Roy's birthday party. He was so happy that day, I don't think I can ever forget that cherishable moment. I remember on one particular occasion, me and my husband, George, went to go help Grandpa move some stuff and cut some trees, and he had a little to-do list for us. And just thinking about it now and thinking about just, the times I went over there to help Grandpa, it was special, to have those little memories. I know there's many of us that have those memories with Grandpa, and those memories will never go away. We were blessed to have Grandpa with us for 90 years. Speaking on behalf of, just not trying to be selfish, but my father only lived till 40. So for Grandpa to be with us for 90 years is a blessing. He was able to see his children grow up to be adults. He was able to see his grandchildren, his first grandchildren, to grow up to be adults. Pretty much you saw the second, third, maybe even the fourth generation, maybe? I think it was. 5? Wow, 5. So God definitely blessed us, and our family is huge. Having everyone to get along and love each other was extremely important to him. Grandpa was truly a man of wisdom, courage, and he leaves his legacy that will continue where he started. Thank you, Grandpa, for sharing. Thank you, Grandpa, for sharing how to live life without compromise. Thank you for showing me what love is really about. I know my grandpa was not only an inspiration to me, but so many of you as well. So today, I am sure he would want you to leave here not mourning, but rejoicing in life. Death is not a greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we were still alive. And if anything, let today inspire you to live a life with no regrets. I love you, Grandpa.
Trying hard not to cry. It's honestly, Grandpa living 90 years is a blessing. And we've got to grow up with him. And like everyone's saying, he was a great man and he gave us a lot of memories. I know it's hard because we're not going to physically have him, but the memories is the greatest thing to have. And I know for a fact he's in heaven and he's looking down on us right now. And I just think, I just know that he's in heaven and he's looking down. and that I want to be there with him when it's my time. And this is just a reminder that we don't know how much time we have here on earth. All of our times are limited. Just like my sister said with my dad, he only had 40 years. Now, all of our times are limited, so spend them wisely, and this is a reminder to take advantage of the family that you have. All of us are family, and we need to spend time together. This is definitely a reminder. We all have things to learn from one another, and Grandpa, he definitely showed us that family means a lot, and he gave each and every one of us love in our own ways, and what I will always remember about Grandpa is his smile, his hugs, and his dance moves. And don't ever forget the man that he was just so happy. He was so happy. So yeah, we can cry because we won't physically have him, but he's smiling down at us, and just know that when you're by yourself and you are hurting or mourning or whatever it is that you're going through, you can cry out to God because God's right there with you. You may feel like you're alone, you may physically be alone, but in reality, God's with you. He's with each and every one of us, and all it takes is for us to cry out to him. And God, in order to get to heaven, he wants our heart. It's a relationship with God. It's if you don't have a Bible, get a Bible and read it, because he wants all of us. And this is a reminder that God is opening heaven for us. And this is just reality that we live to die. But to die is gain, and that's in the Word of God. So Grandpa is gaining something. He's gaining life. He's gaining dancing in heaven. And it's just a reminder that there is heaven and hell. And the reminder is that draw near to God, because that's the only way we're going to see Grandpa again.
Hi, my name is Bethel, daughter of Serena. I just want to say I used to remember waking up at like 4 in the morning, maybe earlier, going to grandma's and grandpa's. Just going over there just made me happy. Like, after waking up, I used to be happy, grabbing my blanket, have my bottle with me. I remember I used to hide my bottles under Gracie's bed. Right when I seen them after school, it just made me happy. I'm going to miss him. I know I didn't get to see him a lot, but I am going to miss him. I love you, Grandpa.
Okay, finally, we're going to hear from my sister Susie's family. Susie? Anybody in your family want to say anything?
Hello, everyone. I'll say a little thing. I'm married to Juan's daughter, Susie, for 30 years. Probably been together like 35 or more. I'll tell you a story. When I first started dating Susie, I was a armed guard. And so one day I told her, I was gonna go pick her up. So she told me her dad was there. Okay, I'll meet him, right? And so I walked up to the door, and I used to have these tailored uniforms, I had my gun on the side. I said, well, he's gonna see how good of a guy I am, right? So I walked to the door, and he answers the door. I go, Susie here. No, she's not here. No, you get out of here, leave, right? I go, wait, shut. He wasn't impressed at all. He's like, no, you just get out, leave. I just walked away like with my head down, and I'm like, I think, man, I don't think I can date this girl because her dad's mean. He's strict, And, the good thing is you don't judge a book by its cover, because once I got to know him, he was really, really nice guy. I mean, he always treated me with respect, always, gave me a hug or a shake every time I seen him. We're having something at his house, he'd guide me to the food right away, and came to my house. Even another good thing, I know he's helped a lot of people out. And I remember when my son was first born, right? And and I was making much money, right? And he had an extra house, and he let me and Susie live in there for, he goes, just give me whatever you can. And we gave him $200 a month, I'm thinking like, man, you can't even rent a cardboard box for that nowadays, And that kind of helped me, I don't think I'd ever moved out the house, that kind of got me on my own, taught me some responsibility, and really started my own family off, until we're ready to buy our own house. One thing when I think about Juan, I think, they say the greatest commandment is to love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. And the second part of that is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I think Juan embodied that because he loved everybody. Everybody who came into his life, he just loved everybody, And they say everybody, if we look for it, everybody has something to share, something good. We got to take the good part because all of us got God in us, and we all got that part, and we all got something to share, and we just got to look for that goodness, And I think about Juan, how he's always happy, always playing with the grandchildren, kids, everybody. He's always smiling. You've seen the videos, when he was older age, he was even smiling more, And he was always, he was just really always kind, And I think, I think what he left me with is to always show love, to show love. That was the thing I got with Juan, is that how much he showed love and always be loving. And especially at this time, that's such a great quality to have right now because of all the turmoil with our government, everybody seems like there's so much hate in the world. Everybody's like hating over what somebody said on Facebook or what's going on over here, over there, and we all just take what, how like Juan and how God wants us, is to love everybody, and I think that he showed a great example of that, and we all need to follow it. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm Susie's daughter. The past month has been a little hard on our family. I do have very good memories of my grandpa. My sister and I, my brother, we would just, my brother used to work with him at the flea market. And my brother would come home telling stories like, Grandpa yelled at me and man, da, da, da. So that was always funny, but I remember taking my kids over there. I love spending time at Grandma and Grandpa's house. And it's like when I came in the door, he's like, where are your kids? Like, he didn't want to see me, he wanted to see my kids. So he loved all the grandchildren. The past 2 weeks, I was very thankful that I got to spend, time with him. Because I work at the hospital, and, since COVID, you can't see your family member. Since I worked there, I would sneak in and see him. FaceTime, my grandma and my family so they can see their dad. So after FaceTime, I would hang up and talk to Grandpa one-on-one. I used to tell him, Grandpa, I love you. And he would grab my hand and hold it, and I love you too. And he's very strong man, and and he made that clear, and he made it very loud for me to hear. And then he said, with his hand up, he told me, I love all my grandchildren. I love you all. And I think he just wanted me to tell you guys that he loved everybody, and he kept, saying, I love everybody. The last time I seen my grandpa, my grandma said some words to him, and he started crying. And Grandma asked, can he hear me? I go, yes, he can hear you. It was a very, I'll forever cherish those moments. that I got to spend with him one-on-one. I remember he used to talk about the grandkids, or it's Cora. He saw Lorenzo on FaceTime, and that just made him so happy. You know, my grandpa's a very strong man, and he fought till the very end. Very, very strong. He had 90 years, and out of those 90 years, he showed just love to everybody. Always had a strong work ethic, and he was definitely someone to look up to. And he'll be very missed.
Hi, my name is Manuel. I'm Susie's son. I just want to say my grandpa was truly an inspiration. You know, I know to me, to everybody, you know, his hustle, his ambition, you know, just me working with him when I was little, you know, taking me to Galt Flea Market, San Jose Flea Market to buy things at a lower price and sell it. He taught me how to hustle, taught me how to, you know, and he taught me how to count with numbers in Spanish, you know, because I didn't know Spanish, but how to sell things or what to do, what to say. So, you know, he was retired and he was still working, still hustling, I lived with him for a little bit. My grandma would tell him, go get your grandpa, tell him to come inside, tell him to come inside. Like, he was always motivated, always just genuine hustler, and he was a family man. Everybody, you know, I lived with him for a little bit, so everybody would come over to visit him. He said everything with everybody, give everybody a hug, smile, loved everybody. You know, I was thankful that he allowed me to live with him for a little bit, and even with me living there, you know, I had to live under his rules, and you know, Grandpa's, well, he's a very strong, disciplined. Like, you know, one time I was outside, and he came outside. I was with one of my friends. He's like, man, get in the house. Don't you think it's too late for you to be outside? I'm like, Grandpa, it's only 8 o'clock, and it didn't matter to him. You know, I had to wake up early. I had to help him, you know, with the fence or do something, you know. So, man, I'm gonna miss him, and you know, he's someone I'm always gonna look up to, and just, you know, try to mirror myself as him. You know, I'm happy to have so much family, man. And I hope I get to grow my family bigger too. So, thank you.
You know, I just want to say one more thing. My sister's going to speak right now. My sister was very close to my grandfather, and it just breaks my heart seeing her so heartbroken. You know, I personally just want to thank Christina. We were always there, and you have the most pictures, the most videos of him, and all the silly pictures of him. Christina was always there, and my sister just liked to go over there for fun and just be there with him and take Lorenzo. So, you ready?
I'm gonna try my best I can. I still can't believe I'm standing right here speaking at my grandpa's rosary. I knew this day would come one day, but I wish it never did, nor come so soon. It was really a long, crazy month of September. To see my grandpa go like that right in front of my eyes is so heartbreaking. For those of you who don't know, I'm Sandra, Susie's daughter. I am my grandparents' baby of the first generation. Everyone who knows me knows I am extremely close with my grandma and my grandpa. People will come over and be like, damn, you still here, Sandra? I'd be like, yep, this is my second home. My grandpa was a sweet, strong, funny, hardworking man, and it reminds me a lot like my mom. I will forever cherish the memories with my grandpa. Early morning huevo coffee in my grandma's house. He'll tell me, Sandra, dame agua. He'll drink it and go, he'll go loud. When he wanted a refill of water, he'll be like, Sandra, agua. Hella young.
I will always remember hearing about his stories from Mexico to the times at the rancho. I remember even back then, my grandpa buying me swings for the backyard. He would buy me bikes and little swimming pools for the house. He would always be like, es para la niña, es para la niña. It's for the baby. My sweet grandpa would rake up all the leaves just so I could jump in them and make a mess all over again. He introduced me to the famous Sonny, the ice cream man on the east side. My grandpa always bought me ice cream. He told the ice cream man, whenever I want an ice cream, I'll do a tab. Growing up, I always wanted to be with my grandpa. There was this time when he was on top of the roof, fixing the roof, and yo me fui arriba de la casa, remember? I climbed on top. I was only about 4 or 5 years old. I climbed on top of the ladder. I went all the way to the top, and my grandpa was just looking at me. And my grandma, she was so mad. She was so mad because I was on top of the roof at like 4 years old. He let me do whatever I wanted just to make me happy. And so that I would always have fun over there going to grandma's. So as I got older, I tried to repay both my grandma and my grandpa back for all the times they have done for me since a baby. I always tried to go above and beyond for my grandparents to make them happy. Holidays, birthday, even regular days, I always asked my grandparents what they wanted to make them happy and to make all their wishes come true. I'm so happy Grandpa got to meet my son Lorenzo. Grandpa loves Lorenzo so much. He said Lorenzo era la sol de la casa. He was the sun of the house. He came in and he brightened their days. He would call me and ask me, ¿Cuándo vas a venir? ¿Cuándo vas a traer Lorenzo? When are you going to bring Lorenzo? I'd be like, Grandpa, I just left. His last day with us, he told me he knew it was his time. He told me, Sandra, the very last day, he told me, Sandra, estoy muy mal. I'm not doing good. Me van a llevar al cielo. I'm going to go to heaven. Por favor, tráeme a Lorenzo. He asked me his last words he was telling me, please just bring me Lorenzo. I just want to see him. So that's what I did. His very last day, he told me, Sandra, yo te quiero mucho. Those words will always stick with me. I always made sure before I leave Grandma and Grandpa's house to tell them how much I love them. Because I never knew when was the last day I would see them. Descansa en paz, abuelo. Te quiero mucho. Y por favor, siempre cuida a Lorenzo. Tu niña Sandra.
I wanted to share something with you, hearing the story about Jaime and Johnny, my nephew Johnny, starting a fire in the fence of my dad's house. I didn't want to say anything, but we bought that house way over 45 years ago. And the first year we were there, me and my older brother started the back fence on fire too. Never told nobody. I got a lot of love for all my nephews and nieces. And I have a lot of love for Sandra. Yeah, I was always asking her, you're still here? I was one of them. And Christina, I got a lot of love for you too. You were always there. Maria, as their caretakers, they were always there. I was happy I was there the last days in his home. If there's anybody that would like to say a few words that I missed in the family or friends, you're more than welcome to at this time.
Hello, my name is Evelyn. And it's going on 3 years that I've met Don Juan and Mrs. Constantino. On the first day that I met them, it was an honor because my mother and my father left me when I was young, 1 month after another, and I told Roy, man, Roy, they remind me so much of my parents, the way they sit there and they make faces at each other, and I had a lot of love for Mr. Constantino and Mrs. Constantino, and it was an honor because I told one day Mrs. Constantino I had no mother, and she reminded me so much of my mother, and it was an honor because, like I said, I used to go there a lot, and I used to always tell Roy, what do you and your daddy want to eat? Oh, you don't need to cook. I said, oh, no. And it was an honor to make the dishes that I made for Mr. Constantino, and Roy used to always tell me, Em, don't cook. I said, no, I know, Mom, your mama can't, and Gracie, and, it's just an honor, Roy, let me do this. I said, because I don't have parents. I go, and it's a joy, and it's an honor for me. And me and Roy, we talk a lot. We were up last night on the phone till 3, talking about Mr. Constantino, the stories that he used to tell Roy when he was small, and we're laughing and joking. And I tell Roy, enjoy your parents. Right now that you have your parents, I tell you, enjoy them right now that you have them. Because when you lose them, it's too late. And I tell Roy all the time, enjoy. And he did. I'd call him sometimes, the wrestling's on. Oh, let me go tell Dad. I go, yeah, I go tell Dad. They used to watch a lot of programs together. And it's just, like I said, it's an honor. And like I said, I'm still here for Mrs. Constantino and Gracie and the family, for Roy. And I'm just hurting inside right now because Roy wanted to be here, and he was telling me last night what, about his dad and what he wanted to say and stuff. And I said, Roy, you got to be strong. I said, just be strong, Roy, okay? I said, and when he left dialysis today, he was waving. He goes, I'll call you. I go, be strong. He said, oh, you're going to be there tonight? I go, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'll meet you there if we go see Papa together. I said, yeah, Roy. Be strong, Roy. You can do this. You're the man of the house now. And you got to be there for your mom. But I say this, yeah, we cry, but we need to rejoice because Mr. Constantino's no longer in pain. He's not gone, and he's not dead. He's at rest. And one day, when the Lord takes us home, we will meet up with him. But the angels rejoice in heaven because they have received Mr. Constantino. And we need to rejoice here on earth for him. And I know that's what he would want it. He loved you all, and he would want you guys to rejoice for him. Be happy for him, like he loved you all. And I just want to say it. I love this man. He reminded me so much of my father. And yeah, it hurts. I only have known him 3 years, but like I said, I hardly talked to him because he was always tell Mrs. Constantino, I feel shame, you know, and I don't know why, but it was, like I say, it was an honor to cook for him and make his plates that he wanted and for him and Roy. And I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing for Mrs. Constantino and being there for her and Gracie, for the family, for Roy. And just want to tell Mr. Constantino that we're going to miss him. But one day we will meet up. One day we will meet up once again.
Hi, I don't know a lot of people here, but I do know Tia's and Aida's family. My name is Reina. I am Tia's and Aida's. I wouldn't be her niece. My grandma is her niece. I remember since I was little, we would always go to Tia and Tio's house with my grandma whenever she would come home. And I remember playing with Sandra, and I remember the ice cream truck too. And I remember always being with Tio, and he would always ask, ¿Quién ganó en el partido? It was always soccer. Always asking for my brothers, especially Martín, el más chiquito. He's like, ¿Dónde está Martín? ¿Cuándo me vas a traer a Martín? I really love my tío and my tía. They may not be my grandparents, pero los quiero mucho as if they were. I can't believe he's gone, but we'll always remember him. And I'm always going to be here for Tia. I may not be able to be there a lot, but I will always love them and be there for Tia. I know she's in so much pain. She was there for us when our brother passed away. And I know I'll be there for her as she was for us. And I hope that he's going to be there for all his family, praying for all his family, watching after them. And that's all.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. You're all invited to the Mass tomorrow at St. Edward's Church, 10 a.m. in the morning. After that, we'll proceed on to the cemetery. So for those of you who would like to come up and pay your respects to my father, now would be the time, because I think the facility is going to close on a little bit. About 20 minutes. Thank you. And for those of you that will attend tomorrow, see you tomorrow. Thank you.
my son Adrian would like to say something to Grandpa.
Just say it. You want me to say it for you? Huh? You want me to say it? Okay. Go, baby. It's okay. Say it. You can do it. Just say it. Okay, come on. You want me to say it? You want me to say it or you're gonna say it? Okay, then let's go. Come on, hurry up.
I like Grandpa so much. He's the best man I could have ever had.